Hello, my name's Chris Stark. I'm from BBC Radio 1, and you may have heard me on That Peter Crouch podcast.
My name's Sean Farrington. I'm a BBC journalist. I present a radio programme on BBC Radio 5 Live called Wake Up to Money and do a lot of money reporting on 5 Live as well. And people may have seen me pop up every now and again on BBC Breakfast, on BBC One in the morning.
My name is Njobvu, and people know me because I'm a TV and radio presenter. I'm on Capital Extra every weekend, and I'm also on Good Morning Britain sometimes doing the entertainment news. And before that, I was on the Jeremy Vine Show on Channel 5.
Hi, I'm Sophie Suleria, and I produce content for podcasts. I make podcasts. I started as a local journalist on the radio station, moved into local TV, and then I ended on the investigations programme Inside Out.
I joined because I wanted to, number one, gain more skills in radio, and number two, just meet new people, really. And I did. We had such a great time. Like, not only was I picking up great skills, like learning how to drive the desk, which obviously helps me now, but I made some great friends who I'm still in touch with today, and that really, really made it worthwhile.
I'd basically decided that I really, really, really wanted to get into hospital radio when someone I knew who worked at the BBC recommended it to me, and I hadn't really heard of it before. But then it was funny because when they talked about hospital radio for me and said it might be the kind of thing that I might like to look to go do, I suddenly remembered about my mum being in hospital, and I remember having the opportunity to get her a song played on hospital radio, and remember finding that whole thing really exciting, and it was something that could bond me and my mum together when she was in hospital.
When I first joined the station, I thought, this is really well put together.
Went and had a look around, and I was just blown away.
Gobsmacked at how high the quality was of the equipment, the people involved, the professionalism.
There was a news studio and there was the main studio, and we'd go round tape requests. So that kind of was a time in my life for me where I knew I fell in love with radio.
My highlights here were the Thursday nights, actually, because I got to go and speak to the patients. Having that chat with them brought light to their eyes, and being able to play their requests and taking their family members' requests and just speaking to people, really.
I had so many good times. I made some best mates there. I loved the Wednesday nights where we'd all get together to make the request show.
The highlights for me individually, I couldn't believe the things I was able to do. Once you get settled in and you learn the skills of just literally either getting music on air or talking in front of a microphone for the first time yourself. I'll never forget, like, when you're told, actually, we're going to let you sit in front of the mic this week and introduce the songs that has been collected from doing the ward rounds earlier in the evening. The excitement about all of that, those things really stand out.
Loved that I got to do something which was only ever a hobby that I felt was on my own, but with like-minded people. It was really special.
The request show, it was what it was about. And it's really what radio is about. It's knowing your audience and giving people the things that they want to hear. Nothing would stop me doing that. No deadline at work. It was, I need to be there. And it was fantastic for my mental health. It was, when I look back, I didn't think that at the time. I look back, it's so good for that. Something else I was doing with my life that was giving to somebody else.
And every part of my stepping stone to my career was just so important. So I really am grateful for R&P for giving me that confidence and the insight into the workings of a radio station and how to present a radio show, because without it, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today.
In many ways, there was a lot of luck, but I'm a big believer that you make your own luck. The hours and hours and hours and hours of work experience, the hours and hours and hours of hassling people, the hours and hours and hours of trying to make yourself better. But in broad strokes, it was Radio Northwick Park gave me the confidence to then start looking for work experience in commercial radio stations. It gave me a foundation for when I started uni and I could do student radio. And there was good links between student radio and the BBC. So suddenly I felt like I was a step ahead because of everything that I'd done at Radio Northwick Park.
When I left here, I then started doing some work with a local radio station in Watford. which was just based around pop music as well. So I carried on learning the skills and everything. And then after that, that's when I started doing demo tapes at Global.
So I did the journalism career, and then was applying for jobs. And amazingly, the interviews I went for, the radio experience that they were looking for, when I could just put, have a show reel that you can say, and obviously in the show reel, there are amazing things. You can take the best 4 minutes of years and years of radio. And they like that. And alongside a bit of a career I had, in finance as well, it just so happened, it wasn't intended, I ended up becoming a financial journalist at the BBC, producing radio, so behind the scenes, making radio, making TV.
The same creativity, the same persistence, the same drive that made me enjoy Radio Northwick Park is no different. And actually, radio isn't any different. That's the one thing I've learned, is that when I'm on Radio 1, it isn't that much different to Radio Northwick Park, because end of the day, it's a room with a couple of microphones and you get to choose what happens. You get to choose, whether it's music, whether it's an idea that you had.
For people that are trying to break into it now, I would just suggest that you get as much experience as you can from as many places as possible, and just say yes to absolutely everything. I don't think I've said no to anything in this career.
Throw yourself at it and cherish every moment you can, because it might not be around forever. I wish Northwick Park was around the corner from me now, but it's not, unfortunately. And I still think they were some of the best days I had.
If you get the opportunity to get involved with a station like this, be proactive and just enjoy it as well.
I would say the main thing is enjoy it. It's so special that you can be with people who are wanting to do the same thing as you. Their only motivation is making radio, and that's such a special time because you can do anything with that. It's such a good opportunity. And especially if you do want to get into radio, you're thinking that you might want to get into radio, you will never have an opportunity like that again, where you have an element of freedom to explore new things and try things out. And you don't need to sound like Scott Mills or Greg James or Zoe Ball or Fern Cotton straight away. And the one thing I always come back to with this is you don't have to be one of those people. I'm very different to a lot of people on Radio 1, but I'm on Radio 1. And I think it's important that you try and find yourself. And hospital radio and local radio and community radio is a really good place to learn what you are on air, what you can be on air, what works, what doesn't work. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. Work on yourself and enjoy it. Respect the radio station. And do your bit for the radio station in a wider kind of sense, and then everyone's a winner in that situation.